Picture this. You are working on your sophomore year term paper, sifting through book after book. Suddenly, your tired eyes catch sight of the one, the only, Chloe Young. She gracefully struts into the library, hair flowing, coffee in hand, and takes a seat next to you. Congratulations, for you have been graced by the presence of the most elegant and courteous person in the class of 2021. I'm grateful to have had the privilege of knowing Chloe throughout all my years at St. Mary's. She's always there to laugh at your jokes and flash you a sweet smile in the hallways. Another thing you'd probably notice about her is that she always has phenomenal posture. I seriously don't think I've ever seen her slouch, which no doubt comes from the 20-plus hours that she spends in the ballet studio every week. Now, I must again congratulate you, because not only did she just sit by you in your imagination, but you're also about to hear her speak. So without further ado, I give you Chloe Lauren Young.
I remember everything. No, really, I'm not even kidding. I remember just about everything. If you name a date, any date, say 2 years ago or 5 years ago, I can probably tell you what day of the week it was, something I did that day, and maybe even what I was wearing. For example, if you asked me, what happened on March 24th, 2016, I would reply, it was a Thursday in the spring of 7th grade, specifically the Thursday before Easter weekend. I was wearing a pink top with my 13-year-old self's favorite floral skirt. It was humid and rainy, but other than that, just a typical day. In fact, in middle school, I spent many a recess with Madeline Lee quizzing me on random dates solely for her entertainment. You can't make this stuff up. You may think that this would be like having my own personal superpower and make my life 1,000 times easier, but it's actually both a blessing and a curse. For every useful memory or happy experience that's stored in my brain, there's also a memory of times that I felt rejected and didn't belong, or of someone making a sarcastic comment or hurtful remark. Everyone experiences momentary feelings of doubt and insecurity, but because I remember these specific details so vividly, those feelings stuck with me for years, and I just couldn't seem to forget the hurt they incited. In an effort to avoid feeling this again, I worked to fit a mold that I thought would meet others' expectations of me. I conditioned myself to monitor what I said in conversation, never disagreeing, and made it my job to prove myself. What I couldn't see, however, was the flaw in my plan. Trying to meet others' expectations worked in reverse of how I hoped. Living with this self-consciousness was not allowing me to be known for who I really was. I refrained from any sort of vulnerability or letting myself be seen. I tried to tread lightly in every social interaction to the point that I came across as distant and uninterested, inadvertently pushing people away instead of forging true connection. Fortunately for me, July 2019 was when everything changed. I spent that summer at a ballet intensive with the Texas Ballet Theater. One day, my teacher told us something that challenged my belief system and turned my worldview upside down. My teacher explained that too often, dancers become obsessed with proving their abilities and their talents, but that it often leads to their downfall. He urged us, as performers, to let go of the idea of proving yourself altogether. He explained that when you perform, the audience isn't there to judge you, they don't want to see you fail. They purchased a ticket to a show because they want to experience something extraordinary. It is your job as the dancer to leave an impression on them, make them leave the show feeling more enlightened and inspired. But even those were not the most impactful words he said that day. His words that were seared into my mind that remembers everything, were these: you have nothing to prove and everything to share. These words hit me so hard, mostly because they challenged my entire belief system. Before that moment, I'd never considered that maybe, just maybe, I didn't need to be accepted by everyone I encountered, or that my worth as a person was not defined by someone else's opinion. Hearing this message felt like a huge weight had been lifted off of me. Although my teacher was talking specifically about dance, I realized that I could take it one step further. In every aspect of life, I have nothing to prove and everything to share. I don't need to make my goal to prove my worthiness to others because it's already there. Instead, I can own who I am and devote myself to sharing what I have to offer with the world around me. I have seen that each of you has her own unique gifts to share with the world. Your worth comes from just being you and owning that. Please don't wait until your time at St. Mary's is almost up to let your classmates see you and know you. I can promise you that the more you own who you are and live as your most authentic self, the more fulfilled you will be in your life. Reflecting back on all the senior speeches we've heard throughout this year, I couldn't help but notice how many of you expressed similar experiences and feelings in your speeches of compromising your authentic self to fit in. It has honestly made me sad to find out that so many of us have struggled in the same way. So I started asking myself, are we also creating and contributing to the situation? How are we perpetuating the problem? No one wants to believe that they are the source of another's pain, but have we been the one who made someone feel unwanted or undervalued? If we can muster the humility to examine the part of ourselves that may have perpetuated this issue, we can start to shift our culture away from one of competition, exclusivity, and disparagement, and build a community of love and support. Having a community with a strong sense of respect and inclusiveness could be what allows us to feel valid and empowered to own who we are. Presbyterian theologian Timothy Keller summarizes this beautifully when he says, "To be loved but not known is comforting but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. But to be fully known and truly loved is a lot like being loved by God. It is what we need more than anything. It liberates us from pretense, humbles us out of our self-righteousness, and fortifies us for any difficulty life can throw at us." To my class of 2021, when you think back on your memories of life at St. Mary's, what will you remember? Specifically, years from now, if someone asks you what happened on this day, March 17th, 2021, will you remember? Would you be able to say what day of the week it was, what you were wearing, or something you did? I know I will. As usual, I will remember the details of this day. It was a Wednesday. It was rainy. I was wearing a red dress. I gave my senior speech at St. Mary's, and my message was, "You have nothing to prove and everything to share." If nothing else, I hope you remember that. Thank you.